we're back. Personal Health Care Reform Talk Show on Pegasus Net Waves, taking your health to a higher level. And it's going to be an awesome show today. If you didn't know, if you weren't aware, you're about to be aware, it's Autism Awareness Month. So, which goes with my guest today, which the guy's a rock star. It's going to be like Penn and Teller. I'll tell you why. Because he's going to be Penn. He's going to talk a lot. I'm going to sit here and shut up while he's here. Because you'll want to hear everything he's talking about with this company, CareStarter. So before we get to that, let's talk about the show, health in the news, all that fun stuff. And I'm going to whip through this very quickly so we give him ample time on the rest of the show. Websites, clintfuquay.com, clintprograms.com, personalhealthcarereform.com. The hashtag on social media is hashtag LiveLean2016. Of course, you can find everything on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, LinkedIn, Instagram. This is all on the websites. Very easy to click. YouTube, Spreaker is where all the old shows hang out. So you can rummage through all the previous 56 shows. I'd need to get some of them on there because I've only got like 50 loaded. And SoundCloud, HealthLink, and IdeaFit. You can find profiles for me on there. And articles. You can find articles in Men's Fitness for me. I need to work on getting some new ones out there. Rux Digital, Offbeat Business, the new for Offbeat Business. Great article, by the way. And Living the Dream magazine, which is coming back very soon. And, of course, I have my my health partners. So Human, helping unite mankind and nutrition. For any and all vending services for your company, it gives you great, healthy food. You can have your goldfish and eat them, too, and still be healthy. It's non-GMO organic goldfish. Ultra Lab Tests. Ultra Lab Tests, of course, they do testing all over the nation, 2,500 locations, 20 to 80% off through me. Use my code. If you go on the website, you'll see it there. For any and all blood testing needs. I mean, it's phenomenal company. MedCall Pro, which I'll have them on here very soon as well. We'll talk about their whole brand new system. Icon Meals, because, summertime's coming. You want to get lean, you want to be healthy, you want tasty food. Guess what? They do all three. They make really tasty food that's going to get you lean and keep you healthy. So check that out. You get 10% off through me using code CBFIT. Once again, on the website. Great food, too. Fantastic stuff. Protein pancakes. They are awesome. Kinesi, which, of course, I'm wearing some Kinesi right now. My clothing company, they've been on hold for about the past 6-7 months because, guess what? They've got new clothing coming. All brand new stuff. It's awesome. I've seen it. I can't tell you about it. It's awesome. Awesome brand new stuff coming out from them. We'll have them on the show this summer to talk about all the brand new stuff that comes out this fall, so get ready. Thrive Market. You go to the grocery store, you're looking around, you can't find what you need, especially if you're looking for good, healthy stuff. You've got the little bit tiny half-square-foot area that's where the organic stuff is at. Thrive Market has all the best stuff in the industry. They get brand new products in every month. It's all gluten-free, non-GMO. It's the best stuff that you're going to find out there, and they've got it all categorized for you. Fantastic stuff there. And, of course, Ideal Life. If you have not yet, you must. You have to. You have to go take your health assessment, okay? Seriously, I'm going to do another show just about this company very soon again. And I'm going to have quite a few people from this company on here, too. The entire SciMed board will be on this show the rest of this year. It's fantastic. If you're taking medications, you have to take this assessment. I'm not going to say you might want to. You have to take this assessment. Take it to your doctor, okay? That's what I want you to do. If you're taking a medication, if you're taking one, if you're taking 50, I don't care. Go on, take the assessment. It's going to blow your mind. It'll blow your doctor's mind, too, because he won't believe this is possible. So we've got that. Let's hop into some events right quick. So coming up on the 3rd, 5/3, which is 2 days before Cinco de Mayo, the Expert event at Sisu Uptown is from 5 to 9. I'm actually one of the sponsor people there, so they're highlighting the show, which is going to be awesome. And I'll be on the runway, too. That's right. I'm gonna participate in a walk-off. I'll be on the runway. Get that? It's a casino night where you have artists there, live DJ, fashion show once again, tons of networking, all kinds of stuff. Come out and enjoy it. It's gonna be a great time. We're expecting about 500 people, so yeah, it's gonna be big. The Brian Tracy 3-day. It's on 5/13 through 5/15. Okay, 2 weeks later, the Westin Dallas Park Central Hotel. Darren Hardy, Ron White, a bunch of other people are going to be there. It's awesome. We're going to do some more promo stuff here on this show and the radio station before that happens. We'll be there, too. seriously, if you want to have some success, you need to go take some notes at this one. And the studio, my friends at the studio, they're going to do a boot camp on the 14th, benefiting North Texas Food Bank. It's going to be yoga weights, kettlebells, all kinds of stuff over there. Dave Willick put this together, and he's got his own thing called Black Dragon Yoga, which is martial arts and yoga smashed together. It's a very unique, awesome system. So they'll be doing that. I've got another boot camp coming up with PhysioFit later on that month too. We'll talk about that later on. Might be some push-ups involved with that one for everybody. Okay, so health and news. We're going to hop through this very, very quickly. So here we go. This is the speed round, because I know I've got like 5 minutes left here. The last show we talked about the ACA and healthcare. Sweden is moving to private healthcare. That's right. Sweden, the bastion of all this socialist healthcare stuff that everybody loves to talk about. They're moving to private healthcare because socialized healthcare is breaking the bank. Literally, the country is sinking under the weight of it. So, brand new poll, or actually brand new story from ABC News. Obese people are now outnumber underweight people. First time in history, obese people outnumber underweight people. So, brand new story from ABC News. Check that out. This is all on the Facebook page, by the way. The diabetes belt. This is from the ADA. Texas is the big belt buckle of this thing. So it runs right up almost the east central side of the U.S. It's a whole belt of the highest numbers in type 2 diabetes. So we got to cinch the belt and take care of this issue. One way to do it, whey protein. Awesome article on whey protein and how it actually helps you manage blood glucose levels. Keeps them lower throughout the day. Also helps put on some lean muscle, great from glutathione production, all kinds of stuff. I can talk about it for hours. Diabetes. Speaking of diabetes, there is being shown, this is from Medical Daily, that several of the diabetes drugs actually lead to cancer because of how they work in the system. So, the healthier you are, the less likely you have to take these things, and guess what? You don't have that risk. So, what does that mean to you? Get healthy. And speaking of cancer, there's a brand new DNA drug bomb. Okay, quote unquote drug bomb. It's being researched right now. Still in clinical trials, but it works like a Trojan horse. It's awesome. I saw a video on it. Cool stuff. Works a lot like how turmeric works in the system, by the way. Hint, hint. Vitamin D. Sun's coming out. Okay, so go out, get you about 10-20 minutes of sun every day. This is coming from Dr. Samadi. If you haven't seen him, I'm going to promo the show right quick, okay? Because I love this show. Sunday mornings, Fox News Channel, 11:30, house call. Dr. Smati, awesome guy. Dr. Smati, if you're listening, you will be listening eventually, because I'm going to have you on the show. I want this man on the show. Seriously, he's phenomenal. Love listening to him. Somehow, some way, I'm going to get that man on the show. We got that. Fad diets, of course, they're everywhere. Because why? Summertime's coming up. Just stay away. I'll leave you with that. Just stay away. Unreading digs you a bigger hole than what you're in. These two are also from Dr. Samadi. Notice a theme here. Yes, I'm going to get them on here. I will. So undereating actually reduces your metabolic rate, throws you in a bigger hole than what you're in before. So whenever you come out of the diet, guess what? That's why you put on more weight afterwards. Everlywell is launching. We're going to have this company on the show in about 3 or 4 weeks. Also, we're going to talk about them, what they do in the industry. It's about blood testing at home. Awesome system. In fact, I'm going to have them as a health partner. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm going to have them as a health partner. I love this company. I love the owner. She's fantastic. So get ready for that one coming up. EWG, the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 is now out for this year. So the dirtiest 12 fruits and vegetables and the cleanest 15 fruits and vegetables. So if you want to know what you can buy, what you need to buy organic, and what you can buy just regular, this is your list. Okay, great one by them. They're also going to have their sunscreen list coming out very, very soon too. Cyborg Olympics, possibly coming to 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. Seriously, watch this video on the YouTube page. It's incredible. Okay. My Fi Dallas was actually 2 weeks ago, and this is an event here in Dallas. It was at Fair Park. It's for kids. Get them out, get them healthy. And I'm going to segue this into Dr. Yolandra Hancock. Will be on this show in a couple of weeks as well. Guess what? She's a SciMed board member. You know what she does? She works with obesity. Yeah, she actually does pediatric obesity. You're going to love listening to her. She's dynamite. the last thing I want to talk about before we get out of here for the rest of the show, there's a movie called Vaxxed. If you haven't heard about this, it has been shut out 3 times. It's been banned at 3 different movie festivals, okay? Robert De Niro is now talking about how he's wishing he wouldn't have banned it at Tribeca and one of the others that he's a part of. So if you get a chance, watch that movie, watch Vaxxed, because it's going to pertain a lot to the show today. There's another one called Allowable Limits. Both of them you need to watch because it's about contamination of water and vaccines and everything else using heavy metals. So with that, the rest of the show is going to be all about CareStarter and LaMarque Polvado. So come back, get ready, tune in. This is going to be an eye-opening, awesome show. The man's story and what he's doing in the industry is phenomenal. For everything else, ClintFuquay.com, personalhealthcarereform.com, and hashtag LiveLean2016. Come back. The rest of the show is going to be awesome.
Have you taken time to plan for your financial future? Or have you not really given it much thought at all, and maybe even avoided it? Hi, I'm Angela Tweeten, known as the lucrative lady, making money simple. I help people break down all of the financial lingo and rules so that they can understand the velocity of money and then plan for, capture, and enjoy their later years. Check me out at thelucrativelady.com.
Hey everybody, this is Blake Miller. I own a company called Ozone Purity where we flood the body with oxygen. If anybody's are worried about just getting toxic and full of the pollution out there in the world, come see us. We specialize in something called ozone therapy, flooding the body with electrical oxygen. We have little steam saunas and we pump ozone through the system and just release all the waste. We're at Addison Beltline. Website is www.ozonepurity.com, or go to our app. You can see all of our products, all of our services on your app store under Ozone Purity.
All right, we're back. Personal Health Care Reform Talk Show on Pegasus Net Waves, taking your health to a higher level. And today, like I said earlier in the show, I've got an amazing, awesome guest on here. It's Autism Awareness Month, so I thought who better than LaMarque Polvado with CareStarter, because his story is fantastic. I do want to do one little shout-out right quick to Focus Special Ed with Doug and Brenda Batts. Fantastic, awesome couple. They've got a phenomenal school here in Plano. So anybody in the DFW area, if you have a child with autism, definitely look them up. But now we're going to go on to LaMarque as well. He's awesome, and I kind of made the joke earlier. This is going to be like Penn and Teller. So I'm going to pretend like I'm Teller, and I'm going to sit back and I'm going to shut up while Penn talks, because you're the Penn. If anybody ever takes a picture, it's going to be hilarious because you're like 6'5" and I'm like 5'8". So it makes for a great picture. I want to start off. Let's start off with some of your backgrounds, who you are, and a little bit before we get into CareStarter, why you started CareStarter. Before we actually get into what that is.
Sure. No, I like to tell people that I'm just a dad. Believe it or not, Clint. That's really what led me down this path. Have a varied background as far as education. Definitely have always been fascinated with systems theory and that sort of thing. But, I'm really just a dad. And what got me into this is a little over 8 years ago, I walked into a pediatrician's office with my oldest daughter, and we were diagnosed with autism. And we were handed a sheet of paper with autism at the top and a lot of grim stats at the bottom. And the doc just walked out of the room with that one referral. And so that was kind of a pivotal moment. I think a life-changing moment for me. And never realized it would send me down this path exactly. At the time, in fact, I owned a convention services company, and we were rolling out across the U.S. and expanding that company. And so I just kind of put it on my bucket list of, kind of Ashland's project with a subtitle of Why Does Diagnosis Suck in America? With a question mark. And really, I thought, Clint, that I just had a unique experience. Like, surely no one else had this crazy train wreck at the moment of diagnosis. And so really I hadn't thought about it for a while. I went on to grow that company and then sell it. And when I sold it, you kind of have a midlife crisis. Mm-hmm. And it brought me back to that bucket list. And I read, I actually read the list, and that was sitting there right at the top. And so what I found out is I thought, well, we'll just do a data grab. And we'll see. Maybe this is just me. Maybe we just had an adverse experience. And I think most patients and their families actually feel that way. that surely, this hasn't happened to anybody else, or maybe other people don't have as hard of a time. And so we did a small data grab of 250 families with all types of diagnoses, not just autism. So CP, Down syndrome, food allergies. And what we found out is that 85% of those caregivers, so when I say caregivers, I'm talking about parents who have a kid, teen, or young adult with a child with some sort of special health care need. 85% of them described diagnosis as the least helpful event on their care journey. And what that data points to is that I was not alone in the sense that this train wreck and diagnosis was not just happening to me, but it's happening to most folks who get a diagnosis. And it's not just happening for folks who get a diagnosis with autism. It happens for many other types of diagnoses as well. And I think it's a reflection of kind of where we are in the U.S. in the medical system and what we do for patients, or they lack of things we do for patients. It really comes down to time and resource dollars, and why don't we better resource patients? But that's how I got into this, believe it or not. Never intended on building a tech company that solves this problem, but that's how I got here.
Okay, fantastic. And of course, I know you're in the first class of Health Wildcatters that came out of Dallas, which is a fantastic group here. In fact, I need to get back involved like I was that first year that you were in there. It's a story that happens quite a bit around the U.S. and it happens more and more because we both seen the numbers. And the numbers are out there. Just on the instance of autism, and then you start looking at Down syndrome and everything else, and all the other issues that are going on, especially food allergies. Yeesh. I know that's just from anybody I've talked to. It's usually after they get the diagnosis, there's nothing else after that. It's just, okay, here's a diagnosis and good luck. And so, what you're doing with CareStar is absolutely fantastic. Let's do a little. Let's talk a little bit about CareStarter is and what it is. Because it is a tech company, I know you got an app. So let's talk about how that system works.
Sure. So at CareStarter, I'm going to start general, and then I'm going to talk to our products. So at CareStarter, our kind of claim to fame is that we build patient-focused technology. And what that means to me and you, Clint, is that where most of my peers in the health technology space, most of them are not building technology for patients. They're building technology to solve a very minute problem in healthcare, and then to sell that technology back to healthcare to solve this small problem. It's very rarely a large problem, and it almost never affects patients. So one of the fun things I like to talk about is electronic health records.
Oh, yeah.
I think we could argue that we've spent an enormous amount of resources on those and that they have not solved very many things for patients. And I'm not sure we could say they've solved a lot for the hospital system, and I definitely don't think they've done a lot for doctors, but our hope is that they will eventually. When we build technology, the first thing that we're asking is, what is it that the patient needs? So unlike my peers, we are entirely devoted and looking at the patient and not just the patient. So in pediatric special care, which is where we are, that's where we're starting. When you look at pediatric special care, our crazy theory goes like this, is that patients are people. So in pediatrics, that means you have a kid, teen, or young adult with some sort of special health care label. And then the second part of that is that we don't believe people are acute. And so when you look at the way resources are given in medicine, the way that they view everything is they're viewing the condition, not the person. And so when you look at the people, it changes things. And I'll give you an example of that. So we may have a kid, teen, or young adult with some sort of label, maybe multiple labels, but we don't need to just resource them with resources. We need to resource their entire family unit. And so, again, patients are, as people, when you think through that, when you have a kid, that kid is not going to say that same age, right? There's a moving target.
Oh, yeah.
So the resources that I need at 3 are different than the resources I need at 6, are different than the resources I need at 16. And so when you begin to look at people as the center point of this technology, what you begin to do is build technology that is truly focused on patient engagement, but from an entirely different definition. So those are some hot buttons right now. You hear patient engagement, you hear patient outcome, and honestly, most of the time, they're talking about the outcome that the system wants. They're not really looking at it from a human point of view. And so when we look at patients, and we look at patients as people, it really does change our approach, because we want to resource them entirely, not just with medical resources, which is where my peers are, but our view of healthcare, Clint, which is quite frankly going to make a lot of sense to you, is that we don't just need medical resources. In fact, our data says that less than 25% of the resources a patient needs and their family needs at the point of diagnosis are medical in nature. And so when we talk to doctors and hospital systems, they often look at us and say, we're doing a great job. We're diagnosing, we're prescribing, and they are. However, that's not what the family needs. They need something way beyond that. And so, a kid needs medical resources. They're going to need therapy resources, nutritional resources. The family needs resources, so you have to have a parental and family category. Recreation, so you've got a kid that has a traumatic brain injury, maybe ends up in a wheelchair. They still want to play sports, right, Clint?
Oh, yeah.
And so, again, our app and our approach begin to kind of redefine healthcare as 6 major categories of resources. And those resources were kind of brought about because we were looking at people, patients as people, not at healthcare, and saying, what can we solve for healthcare? What we want to know is, what can we do for patients on day 1 of diagnosis? And then we had to build something that stayed with them for the life cycle of care. So that kind of leads me into our product. So where we started was what I call the vehicle, which is a consumer app called the Care Starter app. And the Care Starter app is free for all families. So anyone can go on to Google, to the iTunes shop. You can get it on Google Play, and it's a free app that you can download right now. We're live in Dallas, Fort Worth area, the heart of Texas, which is Temple, Waco, Killeen, Austin, San Antonio, and Houston. And then 3rd and 4th quarter of this year, we will launch East Texas, West Texas, South Texas, and El Paso.
Fantastic.
And so it is a free app that families can go download right now. They can set up a profile, and they can kind of get off to the races finding resources in those 6 major app categories that I just mentioned. And so that is what the app does. And again, it's free. So when we looked at what do patients need, they needed a free resource. And so we have built that, we've deployed that, and we have impacted. We now have just over 3,000 users that we have on a daily basis. I know that stat has changed in the last couple of weeks because we've gotten a lot of media, but we expect by the end of the year to be the #1 pediatric health app on iTunes and Google Play, just from as a rollout to Texas. That's how impactful this has become. And so that is a piece of the equation. But then you might be wondering about that day 1 of diagnosis that we just discussed that got me into this.
Yeah.
Our second product is what we call a referral portal. And to oversimplify it, what the referral portal does for physicians and for even nonprofits is essentially what we can do is we help doctors deploy 300% more resources in less than 60 seconds on day 1 of diagnosis. And that tool actually uses the app to deploy what we call a care map inside of the app, and it's every resource that patient's going to need for 6 months to a year in day 1 in less than 60 seconds. And so that is where our technology is taking us, is how do we not only buffer this experience, but how do we redefine what it means to be resourced at the moment of diagnosis, and the app is going to stay with you for life. So that's kind of the 2 parts of our equation and what we're pushing on.
Yeah. See, people, I told you, it's awesome. and what I do, I sat back and shut up over here. So, yeah, because what you're doing is absolutely phenomenal. It's very much needed, incredibly needed, just because of, I mean, you and I have seen the stats. Everybody else has seen the stats. If you watch the news at all, you see the stats on what happens on the diagnosis side. And, yeah, there is nothing after the diagnosis, mostly because the doctors oftentimes don't know where to send anybody, and the resources are kind of scattered, and nobody's really put that together. And you've got, as far as solutions go, you've put together one of the best solutions for this issue, and really helping the families out with everything else after that diagnosis, which is what's needed, and treating everybody as people and not just numbers. And so, That was fantastic. I didn't want to get into some of the autism stuff, but we're about out of time, and going over the autism spectrum, because there is a wide spectrum of that. Just so people do know, this is not just one certain thing. There's multiple different versions of autism out there, all from different causes and everything else. So, thank you for coming on. If you would let's give everybody your contact information, and of course we talked about the CareStarter app, but I know it's on both Android and iTunes. So, but if they want to get in touch with you, if any medical centers want to get in touch with you, if you come on as providers or start using your system, how do they get a hold of you?
Sure. So you can find the app, the CareStarter app, on iTunes and Google Play, just as you mentioned. It's a free application. You just type CareStarter into the search, and you will find it fairly easily. You can also go to our website. We have an enormous amount of blog content that we post around pediatric special care, and you can go there by going to carestarter.co. So it's carestarter.co. So that's another way to get in contact with us. You will find on that site my TED Talk. So if you want to know the data kind of behind why we know we can solve this problem and how the app was built and what data drove the app, I had a TEDx talk that's on our website that's an easy link as well. Mm-hmm. So if you're kind of geeky like me and Clint, and you want to know why and what data we have behind it, that's another great thing to do. And then my cell phone number for anyone who wants to contact me, especially if they're involved in pediatric special care, children's hospitals, looking at these same problems, even nonprofits, my cell number is 817-975-4111. And I welcome kind of anyone. I live a very public life, as you know, Clint. I'm always looking to connect with folks that are trying to solve these problems. And we definitely would love to chat with anybody who's interested in the subject matter. Okay,
all right, fantastic. Thank you for coming on. Love to have you on here, and of course, I do want to bring you back on later on as well, especially when we change the format and we go live. It'll be even more fun doing that way. We can take some call-ins. But thanks for coming on, and great to have you on here, and I hope to see you back here in Dallas whenever you're back in Dallas, because you're all over the place, man. So for everybody else out there, go download that, share it with everybody. It's a huge issue, and this is a fantastic solution for everything else. Look for hashtag LiveLean2016. That's what the conversation is on social media. And come back next for the next show. Next show's gonna be fantastic as well.